Hello, welcome to an INFJ ramble. Today's topic is going to touch on INFJs and understanding people. Do we really understand people? Do we really know who they are? I think the answer to that is yes and no. I think we have access to certain things that most people aren't tuned into. Doesn't mean that other people aren't able to tune into the things we're tuned into. They can, but currently I think that they're really distracted with other things, and so they're choosing to tune into something else. So I think oftentimes our the conclusions we come to are 80 to 90% accurate because we are tuned into all these like subtle things like micro movements, micro expressions, being able to process people's energy and the energy in our environment. So I want to say that to some extent we do know people. Um, as far as the details of their life, we probably don't, you know. Um, but I think we have access to this because predominantly we want to create harmony, and so that's what we tune into. You know, we tune into a person's expressions or body language or tone of voice or choice of words, the way they choose to interact with others, the way they leave something behind. You know, we have access to this information so that we can create harmony. And that's how I think we understand people. And, you know, to that level or degree, we do. Um, Aside from that, we don't really know who they are, though. And even if they choose to disclose information or not, um, you know, it's highly dependent on like how honest they're being with themselves, you know, and how honest they're being with you. I think INFJs are very adept at being able to tell when something's not in alignment. And that could also be perceived as, you know, understanding someone else or knowing someone else. I think we are like human lie detectors, and we can tell when someone is being superficial or if they're being sincere. There's a particular energetic property behind sincerity. I think you can agree. Although I think narcissists are very adept at fooling us, but I think the only reason why they're able to fool us is because we're fooling ourselves. You know, I know for most of my life I've been pretty naive and gullible because I've always given the people benefit of the doubt instead of seeing them as they really are. I've kind of projected my idea of how someone could be instead of seeing them as they are. And so I was very fooled and suckered into believing a lot of like lies that these very covert people were able to like portray. But as I get older and wiser, and as I allow myself to see things from a realistic standpoint versus pushing my ideals on others, I think I become more seasoned at being able to spot these people. And it's interesting because I have the ability to spot these people. They don't really affect me as much, and they don't really stay in my life too long either because they know that they don't have that kind of hold on me. But yeah, so I also think that your ability to understand someone else is in relation to how much you understand yourself. You know what I mean? If you have done some, excuse me, like inner work, or you've done a lot of self-reflection and exploration, then, you know, you've basically uncovered different angles of yourself that are now easily accessible in others. Do you understand? Because everything is a mirror, everything is a reflection. So, your ability to understand someone else is based on your capacity to understand yourself. And I think that's why we spend a lot of time in self-reflection and examining ourselves and, examining others, because we seek that type of understanding. And to some degree, if you know yourself, then I feel like you will be able to know others. If you understand yourself, you will be able to understand others. If you love yourself and care for yourself, that is also reflected in the interactions you have with people and the level of love and care you're able to give them, the level of compassion, the level of, understanding. So, I feel like, and I could be wrong, I'm still exploring this, but I think we do understand people to a higher degree. And it's true, I think we can understand them more than they know themselves. It's all dependent, like I said, on the individual and the level of consciousness and awareness and mindfulness. Like for me, if words and actions don't line up, because we are adept at sensing when something is not in alignment, you can kind of like sense the facade or the superficiality in the expression or the personality or the disposition of the person standing in front of you. And it's not good or bad, right or wrong, but, in that way we can kind of sense and understand the person and know the person that is in our presence. And I think that's why a lot of people find us refreshing, because we are able to like be so like honest and sincere in front of another person that, it allows them to access those aspects within themselves, But we can sense when somebody's being untrue. And I think that scares narcissists and psychopaths and sociopaths. And so, they can kind of sense that, we can sense that they're being not genuine. And so they go and find someone else that they can hypnotize or, cast their spell over. Hey man, I don't know if I made sense, but if you learned something, cool. If you didn't, cool. In conclusion, I think we do have a higher level or degree or ability to access these things in people, because we access it within ourselves. As far as details, yeah, we don't know the details, but it could be a surface level, it could be a core level. I think we do have a higher understanding of people, how they operate, where they're at, The reason I made this video is I saw another person talking about this subject matter, and they were trying to say that, we don't. But I feel like we do. And tomato, tomato. You do and you don't. Based on where you're at. Based on where the other person is at. Anyhow, blessings to one and all. Amen.